Lathan was falling, not fast or slow, and it was almost like gliding, comfortably gliding toward a bright light. Specks of white were racing by him, or he was racing past them. He couldn't quite tell. Some lights even seemed to be circling his body. Although they zipped by quickly, the journey took a long time. Some lights pulsed, and some seemed to pace him. He wasn't sure what to make of that. All he felt was peace, acceptance of where he was, and where he was going. The bright light didn't change in size, until it did. It seemed so distant for so long, never changing. Then it grew and grew. The light was getting larger, rather quickly now. It was tinted gold, like yellow flames on the outside of an orb. Right when he passed through the light, those same golden flames looked at him and warmed his whole body. Before it was like traveling through a dark tunnel that was speckled with pinpricks of light. Now everything was twilight and open. Finally free from his isolated past, Lathan Greywind is living a stable life with his wife and newborn daughter as a taiko drum coach at UC Davis. Events outside his control force him to take action. Faltering against the mundane and the supernatural, he is thrust into a reality he doesn't understand. A reality filled with sentient life and power that has a will of its own. Lathan must learn to harness his newfound abilities before he can return home to his family. If he can only figure out how. So, the Ornaya Codex by Jonathon Lively is the first book. Hold on. The Last Soul by Jonathon Lively is the first book in the Ornaya Codex series. It has... Well, there's a lot going on in this book, and it was interesting. Basically, Lathan is living a great life as a drum coach. He has a wife, he has a daughter, things are doing well, and then one of his students develops some problems, and Lathan has to step in and sort of deal with this, like, you know, supernatural bad guy, and things go downhill from there. Basically, he ends up somewhere else, i.e. Ornaya, and discovers that he has these powers, and there are other people with these powers, and things are way different than what he expected. There's a lot going on, and he has to figure out how the heck to get back to his family. There are some things that he has to do first, though. Yeah, so this story is complex. There are a lot of characters and a lot of things that are going on, and it was very cool to see how this played out. The beginning of the story started off perhaps a little slowly. I think a little too much time was spent on Lathan's before life, his before things started to go wrong, which I get, because understanding that before life leads into rather a lot of understanding of why Lathan is doing what he's doing later on. However, I think it maybe was a bit too much dominated by that. However, once things start to happen, oh my gosh, the pacing picks up. It's amazing. There's just like, wow. Yeah. No, once the pace really gets going, it gets going. And then you get into some really fantastic world building with a whole lot of very interesting descriptions and a lot of sensory details, which is super fun. It can be a little bit overwhelming since this world is being built from scratch, but once you understand what's going on, oh my goodness, it's great. Yeah. I would say that a lot of the sensory detail does get a bit overloaded in the situations where Lathan is engaging in physical combat. You have to follow things sort of blow by blow, and if you lose one blow, it's just all over the place. I would say that that is a little bit tricky to follow, but it doesn't happen all that often. For the most part, the sensory imagery that you get is really, really cool and fascinating, and does really well at building the world up. Also, it ends in such a way that there's so much more to discover. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Anyways, I enjoyed this book. I think the beginning did slow me up a little bit, but once you get into the book, oh my goodness, it's just wow. yeah. So if you are interested in this book, which I would say do it. As usual, all the links are in the description box below. You can find them there. Jonathon Lively is super fun to talk with. I will leave links to his interview that I did there also. Or you can find my links there for social media, for my books, for whatever you want to talk about. That's pretty much all I've got for you. As usual, I hope things are well out your direction, and yeah, we'll see how long all of this craziness lasts. That's pretty much all I've got for you today. A very complex, entertaining, well-built book. Yeah. I like things on an epic scale, I have to admit. I mean, I like things on a not epic scale too, but I like things on an epic scale. And that's pretty much all I've got for you today. I will see you next time. Bye.